growth and development. What are those things? What is it that you need to do to begin to upgrade your skills or your knowledge? As you begin to look at yourself and ask some of these questions, what is something that you're good at? Let's think about these things. What would you do if you had 1 year to live and guaranteed success in anything you decided to do?
Don't waste another minute trying to convince someone to like you, to come see you. If you have to talk them into it, they are not for you. They are a distraction. It's not your job to straighten them out. Let God fight your battles. Don't fight battles that are not between you and your destiny. You're not supposed to engage in every conflict. You have to keep your face set. Most of the things that come against us are simply distractions.
Now, you can keep on the same path for the next couple of years as you have the past two. But if you need to make some changes, I'm telling you, you can start doing it today so that the next 2 years will be drastically different than the last two. And anybody who wishes to do that can. And you can do it between ages 40 and 43. You can do it between ages 60 and 62. Any 2 years, any 5 years that you wish to drastically change from the previous 5, you can do it.
You're not the nut you used to be, but you're not the tree you're gonna be. But until you learn how to appreciate where you are in the process, you won't get the power to evolve to your ultimate destiny. It's not what's happening to you that's hurting you. It is the threat of what could happen to you that is stealing every good day you got. You can't enjoy the good days because the enemy is threatening you, so you don't get any peace when things are well, and you don't get any peace when things are bad. Because when things are good, you're worried about them going bad. And when they're bad, you're dealing with what bad happened, and you haven't had any rest. You've had sleep, but you haven't had rest. You're tired when you get up. You're tired when you go down. You are up under attack.
Because whatever you identify as the source of your stress determines what you consider the source of your peace. And that's why I don't like to blame people for my stress. Because if people brought me the stress, then I need people to change for me to have peace. But I'm past the point in my life of wanting for people to have to act a certain way, for me to have peace in my own heart.
Every morning when we wake up, we need to empty out anything negative from the day before. Somebody offended you at work. It's easy to let that offense stay. Feels good to carry around a grudge. But you have to be disciplined. Say, no, I am not giving this offense any room. They hurt you once. Don't let them continue to hurt you by holding on to the offense. Being offended is not harming them, it's harming you. It's taking up space you need for the good things that move you toward your destiny.
It's just not happening as fast as I thought it would. I thought by now I would have had the promotion. I thought by now that I would have had a breakthrough. I thought by now I would have paid off my bills. Oh, but friends, I wish today that we had a pantry door measuring stick for your faith. If you could look back throughout the years, what you would discover is that mark by mark, you have been maturing. You have been growing. It's just been little by little. I know you're not where you want to be yet, but baby, you have come a long way. You're growing gradually.
We need to grow emotionally. You can't keep crying about the thing you cried about last year. You can't keep complaining about the thing you complained about last year. You have to learn. You're growing. You can't keep being overwhelmed by what you were overwhelmed with last year.
What is no longer needed? What emotion, what anxiety, what thought, what belief, what person is no longer needed in my life? I never tell the old story. I don't like telling the old story. I'm constantly trying to write the new script, become the new character in my life. It could be the new beliefs I have. It could be the new story, but I'm constantly retelling a new story all the time. I'm constantly obsessed with writing the next chapter of my life, not reading the previous ones.
It's one thing to cry about that last year, but you've grown. You learned that lesson. Don't go backwards, move forwards.
You're in love with tomorrow, but you're neglecting today. And when God sees you neglecting today, He will not give you tomorrow until you are faithful over the few you cannot be ruler over the many.
There are going to be times when your circumstances are inconsistent with your dreams. And in those moments, you have two choices. Number one, you can reduce your life to your present circumstances. Give up on it. Or you can believe your life will catch up with your dream if you won't quit and won't give up. Never allow circumstances to change the dream God has put in your heart. Never.
If it works, it's obsolete. Because whatever it is, it will be obsolete before long. Now, this is something I think each of us should check ourselves against regularly, weekly, if not daily. We should ask ourselves, what am I still doing the old way? Have I dug myself a rut or two that I'd be better off to climb out of?
The next time something comes against you, ask yourself, is this a battle worth fighting, or is it simply a distraction? That coworker that leaves you out, doesn't give you credit, do you think they can stop your destiny? That somehow they're more powerful than what God has ordained for you?
It is a spiritual attack that comes against you in spiritual ways. And because you are up under attack in your spirit, in your mind, in your emotions, you are lonely. No matter who you're around, no matter how many people know you, you end up alone because you are up under a private battle that you can't talk about.
Just take maybe 2 or 3 minutes and ask yourself, what do I need to do today to challenge me, to reach my potential, fulfill my strengths and the purpose that I have in my life? If you challenge yourself and follow through on it, it'll be the greatest challenge and give you the highest return of any challenge that you'll ever receive.
You must prepare for success, even if there is no indication of it. You must prepare for success, even if you have become accustomed to failure. Take the time to prepare, and prepare hard.
The greatest value in life is not a bank account. The greatest value in life is not a car. The greatest value in life is this. Make a note. Living a good life. In the midst of all of our achieving and building and growing, helping other people, being a part of society and the country and the world, being all of this stuff, here's what you must figure out all of your life, how to continually live a good life.
I know there's something in you. I know something about you. And there's something in you saying, I want more. I want more. I want to be happy. I want to fall in love again. I want to do more than where I am right now. You never know. This might be the day.
Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there. See, there are certain things that's got to be in place. They got to see it all together. And life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. So as you look at your life, as you begin to look toward the future, you're saying, I'm not getting what I want. Begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you got that in you. You got that.
Identify your gift and get busy with it. God gave all of you a gift. It is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your gift. Get busy at that. He put that gift inside of you. He didn't hide it under a rock or put it under the mountain or put it on the mountain somewhere. He put the gift in you. That's how you become successful. Identify your God-given gift, what he gave you at birth, and get busy with it.
Now, some of you that said, you know what? I'm taking a chance on me. I'm going to build something for me. This is the entrepreneur's economy. Don't give up on that. Hold that vision tenaciously. Through all the frustrations, through all the failures, I've built my business on rejections, on who do you think you are?
When you look at your life and start asking yourself a question, what does my life look like right now? Does it look like something I want to be in? Ask yourself that. What does your life look like? And what's the benefit of holding on What's the benefit of being afraid? What's the benefit of not trusting yourself? What's the benefit of staying right where you are, a place that you don't like to be? What's the benefit? Don't let no's intimidate you. Don't let not knowing where to start intimidate you. Leap anyway.
Of the 5 things that you would like to do if you had the courage to do, I want you to pick one thing, and here's how to set it up for yourself that will help free you and get you unstuck. What is the worst thing that can happen if you do it? But let's say going into business for yourself, or changing careers, or getting a divorce. Do the worst case scenario. Now, when you do the worst case scenario, you write those things down, the worst things that you fear would happen. When you name your fears, that puts you in control. What are you afraid of?
I think there's a different level for you. I think there's a different level for you to get obsessed, crazy, laser focused. I say all the time, our obsessions become our possessions. When you're laser obsessed focused, your obsession distracts you from what you're currently doing, not the other way around. You're not really obsessed with it if you're easily distracted from it. And so the only way we get to that ultimate version of ourselves is by replacing ourselves and growing all the time. This has to become an addiction for you. For too many of us, we like to grow. And every time you don't make it an emergency, it's not a crisis, you're not in a hurry, you never get there. And the truth is, whether you know it or not, you are either growing or you are dying.
Get better. There isn't any of us that can't get better, starting a few steps from here at that convention. I'm telling you, for things to get better, you got to get better. Don't ask for it to change out there. Ask for you to change here. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. We call that naive. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better. Learn how to handle the seasons better. Let's go through them. Just get better at handling the winters. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself.
We need to grow. You need to grow, and it needs to become an intention of yours. It needs to become an obsession of yours. You can't always acquire the things you want, but you are in control of acquiring the next version of you. And that requires being uncomfortable. That requires growth.
Get stronger. You can develop the muscle. You can develop the courage muscle. You can develop the dedication muscle. You can get stronger in style, personality, the ability to cope, the ability to handle with anything that happens, no matter what happens.
What is your wake-up call? What is controlling your thoughts? Is it the television set? Feeding your mind images of what life should be? Is it drugs or alcohol numbing your brain and diminishing your desires? Or is it weakness, a lack of discipline that prevents you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish?
If you quit, whatever you were trying to accomplish can never happen. If you quit, there is no chance of it popping back up again, coming back later. Quitting is guaranteed failure. When you're trying, you're going to fail. You have to make sure that your dreams and goals are so big that not accomplishing them is not an option.
I'm not saying that there aren't things in life that we just have to do. There are. But what I am saying is ask questions. Don't believe everything that you're told, and don't follow the path just because it's there. Don't get in line just because other people are. Get up. Be conscious of what is creeping into your mind. What are you letting in there? What is forcing itself in there? You have only one life, so don't waste it.
Take inventory of what you're giving space to. Life is too short to go through it with negative things holding us down.
Every action and every discipline today is a link in the chain. Every action and every discipline in the future is a link. When you can see that every link leads you to the things you want most out of life, then you won't grow discouraged or impatient with today. When you can see where you're going through visual chain thinking, even on the toughest days, you'll keep building your ambition by knowing where you're going, not just where you are today.
It's easy to go around worried about our future, stressed over our finances. We're tempted to live guilty because of past mistakes. We wonder why we don't enjoy life, why we can't sleep at night. It's because our mind is cluttered. You weren't created to live guilty, bitter, upset. If you're going to reach your destiny, you have to clear out the clutter. You can't stop negative things from coming, but you can keep them from staying. You don't have to hold on to it.
Your plans and goals are your visual chain, knowing where you're going before you get there. Develop a plan, a game plan. Here's the first rule for your game plan of life. Don't start your day until you have it finished. Don't begin your activities of the day until you know exactly what you plan to accomplish. Don't start your day until you have it planned. That value is the fruitful result of discipline, not hope. Once you've mastered the art of planning your day, you're ready for the next level.
When we make mistakes, guilt will come, telling us how we don't measure up. You can hold on to it, go around down on yourself, or you can let it go. You have to be proactive when it comes to keeping your mind in peace, because all through the day there's clutter. There's noise, there's jealousy, there's hurts, there's offense. They may come, but you don't have to hold on to it.
In the midst of life's trials and challenges, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and discouraged. However, as followers of Christ, we can take solace in the fact that our Heavenly Father knows and understands our situations intimately. He is not distant or unaware. Rather, He is intimately acquainted with every detail of our lives. Today, I want to encourage you by reminding you of the profound truth that God knows your situation and that He is your ultimate solution. Yes, it's true. No matter what you are going through today, whether in your personal life or in your professional life, God knows everything about your situation. He knows your everyday struggles as well as your victories and defeats. He knows your expectations of Him. He knows your difficulties, your addictions, your joys, as well as your sorrows. He knows your family situation, as well as your strengths and weaknesses. He knows your financial situation, as well as your state of health. If you have financial problems, put your situation in His hands through prayer and thanksgiving, and He will be able to bring you the help and comfort you need. If you are sick and you have health problems, don't forget that He is able to heal you because He is the doctor of doctors. There too, present your situation to Him, and He is able to deliver you. His word tells us in Habakkuk 2:3, "For it is a prophecy whose time is already appointed. It is coming to an end, and it will not lie. If it tarries, wait for it, for it will come to pass. It will surely come to pass. It will surely come to pass." And yet, even when you feel like He has abandoned you, or that your situation doesn't interest Him, today, through this message of encouragement, God wants to remind you that He loves you. Sometimes, God's plans take longer than we expect, and it can be difficult to trust Him when no immediate results appear. Focusing on obedience instead of outcome can help us hear God more clearly. By reading His Word and spending time with Him and serving others, we can get closer to hearing His call. The Bible teaches us that God knows our innermost thoughts and actions. He understands why we do the things we do, such as thinking what you're thinking, going where you go, and doing what you do, as well as our motivations behind them, such as wanting power, money, or status. Furthermore, He even knows our responses when given everything we desire. His knowledge serves both as comfort and burden, while comfort reminding us we're not alone, but that He sees everything. It also reminds us we aren't perfect and reminding us we will make mistakes along the way. Sometimes we must bear the consequences of others' iniquities. If your parents live in sin and make poor choices that affect you directly, for instance, or your employer might make unwise decisions that negatively impact you. However, it should never cause bitterness, as God knows your heart and does not permit suffering unless he sees that it will lead to your good, as he declares in Romans 8:28. Luke 16:15 may conjure images of Pharisees living double lives. They sought public approval while at the same time harboring hypocrisy and false religion in their hearts. Jesus knew their hearts well and saw through their seemingly pious facade to see what was really going on inside of them. God knows your heart no matter what actions you take. He sees all aspects of your behavior, good, bad, and ugly alike. He can even judge the motives in your heart. Attempts at concealing negative aspects in life only hurt themselves further in the end. Instead of hiding problems away, face them head on as soon as they arise. God understands everything. Good news is that God is an understanding Father who wants to get to know each of his creations intimately. He has an exact plan in store for each individual that will work out for his glory. His aim is to transform you more like Christ while he builds his kingdom. In the meantime, he provides comfort and encouragement, standing beside us through good times and bad. Romans 8:38. When making major decisions, it can be tempting to assume that God will reveal his will very directly. While this may be the case, sometimes he uses your circumstances instead as a way of leading you in his desired direction. God may want his will for you written clearly on a wall or spoken out loud, but this isn't how he usually works. Instead, he's more concerned with your heart and your willingness to follow his guidance. God created you and knows all about you, even your thoughts. He delights in seeing how much he cares for each of his creations. More often than any mother might, he watches over each one of us vigilantly and even has our names written upon his palm. Your decisions and plans may not always be correct, but God understands them all. He knows why they were made, what motivates them, and the best outcome possible for each option available to you. If you need assistance in understanding God's will or hearing his voice clearly enough to discern it yourself, pray and read scripture daily until he reveals his will to you through prayer or scripture verses that contain insight to his will, or listen for his voice. Taking the time to carefully consider each possibility before making your choice will help immensely. Be wary when taking advice from trusted friends. Their opinions could contain biases that cloud their judgment even if they're strong Christians. Additionally, their lives may differ significantly from your own, and they might not understand all the circumstances you're currently dealing with. At its heart, what's most essential is remembering that God's power and presence permeate every moment of your life. He will never abandon or forsake you. He is with you through every trial you may be experiencing and can bring healing for all things. Nothing is beyond his reach. Pain will eventually give way to joy and peace. God knows your plans and knows the best way to fulfill them. While some plans may not work out exactly as we expect, that doesn't mean he has abandoned our lives or that his work in our lives won't bear fruit eventually. Waiting on him takes longer than expected, but he helps us endure and develop faith while waiting. God is sovereign over every detail of life. Trusting in him during trying times will bring you peace.
Hey dear, welcome to my channel.
The natural resistance to change that keeps us stuck in a cycle of inactions This interior is not just about physical immobility, it's often a mental and emotional state that holds us back from pursuing our goals. When you find yourself in a state in interior, everything seems to conspire to keep you exactly where you are. The comfort of familiarity and the fear of the unknown create a powerful force that resists any attempt to move forward. It's easy to tell yourself that you all start tomorrow or that now it isn't the right time. But these excuses only serve to reinforce the status quo and deepen the interior that holds you back. Breaking free from interior and requires a deliberate and conscious effort. It's about making firm decisions to act even when every part of you is reluctant to move. This interior push against interior is often the hardest part.